Today on the channel, it's the continuing saga of what's leaving my collection, and this time, it's so hard to say goodbye, part 24.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for the continuing saga of That's So Hard to Say Goodbye. And can you believe it? We are up to episode 24 here today. And this is a big one. This is one I've been threatening to do for many a years, and well, the time is now. I finally got after it. I finally made something happen with it, as these are leaving my collection, and we'll get into that. But of course, we always put up at the beginning of this, there's a lot of reasons things leave my collection and probably your collection. Of course, a lot of us say, hey, I want some more space, or hey, maybe in this case that we're going to talk about today, I'm not feeling this collection anymore. Maybe it's financial. Hey, this is worth a lot of money. I could get a lot of money for this. I'm going to sell it. Or, hey, I just need some money. This is the first thing I want to part with in my collection. But it is always sad to say goodbye. That's why I always say it's so hard to say goodbye, because at one time or another, this was the thing you wanted the most in life at that time. You wanted to pay $25 for this action figure. You could have spent $25 on a meal. You could have bought flowers for your wife, maybe. Who knows what you could have done? But at that moment, you sat there and said, this $25 I have, it is going to this. So at one time, whether or not it is now, it was very important to you. And now, unfortunately for me in this case, it's got to go. It's got to get out of my collection. And long story short, what are we talking about today? What have I been threatening to get rid of forever? Longtime viewers of the channel probably know I am getting rid of my Star Wars collection. Yes, Star Wars! Oh my gosh, Boba Fett, I'm sorry, I hate to do this to you, especially good friend of the channel, Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian. I hope he doesn't hold this against me, but I will say I'm going to put a small asterisk on this one. I am keeping a few of my favorites. Jabba the Hutt, the Gamorrean guards, I'm keeping them. I'm going to keep one Han Solo, one Luke. I'm going to keep all my Ewoks and all my Wookiees, because obviously hairy bipedal creatures, you know I'm in on that one. And then of course the man, the myth, the legend, Admiral Akbar. Got to keep those guys in my collection. Probably a Darth Vader as well. But basically going from four Billy bookshelves, I'm going to go down to maybe 2 shelves on a Billy bookshelf with my Star Wars collection. Star Wars, man, I've been collecting it since I was a little kid with the Kenner toys, back into it with the Power of the Force, back into it with Hasbro. And then, of course, the Black Series taken over from there. But we've talked about it. People have talked about it in the mainstream media. They've talked about it all over the place. That Star Wars, unfortunately, as far as I'm considered, is not what it once was, especially in the toy lines, what we're talking about right now. Now, they're bringing out Acolyte toys, some of these new movies, new TV series that just... they're for me, but not for me, if that makes sense. Hey, I'll watch almost anything Star Wars. I haven't watched The Acolyte yet. Haven't watched The Skeleton Crew yet. Hopefully, maybe one day I'll get around to doing that. I'll watch The Mandalorians of the world, but man, they're just not hitting like they once were. Like The Mandalorian first couple of seasons, man, oh man, amazing, amazing. Obviously, the original trilogy that I grew up on, watching on VHS tapes a million times, things like that. Obviously, a near and dear to my heart. The other ones, yeah, okay, here and there, I guess is what we'll say. Worth a watch, but didn't change my life like the original trilogy. And I was of that age that it would change my life, of course, back in the day. Anytime you get Ewoks, it's going to change your life. I will say, too, I'll say, hey, if they do bring Battle for Endor and some of those movies, we get a Wilford Brimley, we get a Sindel figure, I'm all in. I'm back in the game, baby, if those do come out. But Star Wars just not hitting like it once was. And then when you look at toys, it's all about justification. Everybody has to say, do I like what I'm getting here? And for the last, I don't know how many years, I haven't enjoyed the Black Series. It is more of a chore. And as you guys have seen on the channel, I've only unboxed maybe one Star Wars figure over the last year and a half. Nothing motivated me to put the money down to get the figures. And that is very unfortunate from a property I loved beyond recognition for many years of my life, but there's nothing that speaks to me as a consumer that I want to put my hard-earned money down for. Then we got the price increases of COVID. We understand that. I understand that more than most, being in a business that has to do that kind of stuff. But I didn't feel the juice was worth the squeeze. I can say, okay, WWE, tell I'm getting pinless joints now. I'm getting a little bit more bells and whistles. I'm getting new ankle articulation. Obviously, they got their struggles with their new factory, but for the most part, okay, I feel like I'm paying $1 more, but I'm getting this in return, so it doesn't feel as bad. Once again, about justification. Star Wars Black Series, I can't say that. We still got single jointed elbows. What are we doing here in 2024 or 2025? What are we doing here? Why do we got those arms like that? We need double jointed. We need pinless double jointed elbows over to Star Wars. You know I'm a fan of that. And we need more deep cut characters, and I get it. You got so many alien one-offs that you probably can't reuse. That limits stuff, but man, back in the Power of the Force, back in the olden days, we got all that kind of stuff all the time. And a lot of collectors, yes, we understand you need the Lukes, the Leias, the Darth Vaders, but we also need some of the crazy aliens on a more consistent basis. We need some of those guys. Why are we not getting those guys? Instead, we're getting a rehash. We're going to get Luke back over and over and over again. We're going to get this guy on this card, this card, this card. Lando, good friend of the channel, Lando. I love a Lando figure. But how many Landos have we got just the same figure on different cards? There's too much of that with Star Wars. Got to get the most out of your molds. Got to make the most money you can. I totally understand that. However, I also, hopefully Hasbro, which I'm sure they do, understand I don't have to buy all these. I don't want to support this rehash after rehash after rehash anymore. I want the meat and potatoes, some of the stuff that brought us to the dance originally, and that is the core characters, but also a lot more ancillary characters, and it seemingly we just do not get that. We're going to get a Stormtrooper on consistent clips, but we're not getting these pilots. We're not getting stuff like that. It's just not happening. So, very disappointing. I see the writing on the wall. It's just rehash, rehash, rehash from the original trilogy, and then, of course, maybe new faces on some other characters from that as well, new face technology, things like that. But then we're getting stuff from the Acolyte and things that I just don't have the investment in, at least as of right now, and probably never, let's be honest. So it's just, for me, with the price hikes on those things, the lack of improvements in the figures, it just doesn't excite me anymore. And like I said, you've seen that over the last year plus on the channel, just no more Star Wars. Heck, we were a Guinness Book World Record Champion channel right here, as how many years ago did we do a Star Wars unboxing every single day on the channel? I did something like 370 unboxings for the entire year. If you guys were a long-time viewer of the channel, you've seen that, or maybe you've seen some of my old Star Wars videos. But I made a point to do a video every single day of Star Wars. So a lot of Star Wars love on this channel for a long time, but unfortunately it has went south like no other property ever has before. And for me, it means it's not so hard to say goodbye. I just can't do it. I can't stomach it. I don't get the enjoyment of looking at it anymore. And obviously I'm not going to get all my money back on that stuff, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm clearing some space out. Something I'm not, unfortunately, not enjoying anymore is leaving. So now I'll see that and I'll fill it with something I do enjoy. So that's part of this as well. So it is a sad story, especially my long storied history with Star Wars going back to a little kid. But I will say I will dabble. They put out a new Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian. Hey, I'm in. You put out Sindel, you put out Wilford Brimley. I'm in. You put out some new Ewoks and you put out some more Wookiees. I'm in. But outside of that, few and far between. I'm going to keep it to about 2 shelves in my collection. So the Great Purge I've been threatening for about 2 years. I've teeter-tottered on. That time is now. Goodbye, Star Wars Black Series. I will miss you. So that's so hard to say goodbye. What are you saying goodbye to lately? Anything? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I have to imagine a lot of people watching this video have also probably ditched their Star Wars. It feels like it's a theme out there. I see a little bit more of that than I do other properties. So maybe that's you as well. But stick it down in the comments what you're getting rid of or what you have gotten rid of as of late. And of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel. 2 channels going every single day. And of course, both those channels funnel right up to the old Patreon. Appreciate all the support on the Patreon channel over there. ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. Check out my new TikTok channel for all my sick dance moves. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for That's So Hard to Say Goodbye, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.